Welcome back, everybody. It's Rudy, Alpha Beta, nobody gives a shit investments. Today we're going to share a very specific story, very kind of an important life lesson for everybody to discuss, and really what's going on in the world of magic, cryptocurrency, and kind of what's going on in a lot of, unregistered type markets, and a lot of things that are just where people are looking for opportunities that are not mainstream. Well, maybe not anymore. It's becoming more popular, more well known. So, Derek, thank you very much for selling me this collection. Now let's share your story with everything. First things first, this gentleman, which I'm going to show everybody the collection here in a minute, and kind of the very bizarre nature of the collection that was sent to me. So this gentleman played Magic the Gathering in high school, early 2000s. Recently, a few years ago, he got back into Magic and collecting. I'm not sure how much the investing in my channel is having a lot of influence on bringing people back. I get that type of comment in personal message a lot. Just they kind of get that bug again to get back into the world of Magic, but more in an adult investing versus a playing perspective. So, probably around 90% of all the cards I sent you to be sold were purchased with Bitcoin when Bitcoin went parabolic and Bitcoin was around $15,000 a coin. When it was this high up, I guess he locked it in, or I'm assuming he locked in the profits, or I'm not sure. He said, or he just says, when it was $15,000 a coin, I bought a bunch of graded cards and specifically just bought reserve list cards and some other sealed product. Now, the real world, my wife wants a new car, and we're deciding to part ways with a portion of the Magic collection versus selling the cryptocurrency in today's bear market. Interesting. So, that's interesting. So, brings me to the second part after I bought the collection here. This gentleman quit his job in March of 2018. He is now working for a company called Cash Blockstart by DevSlopes. This is a blockchain company out of California. I guess they deal with blockchain. I don't know if that's with crypto or dealing with another form of uses or technology. I'm not really too sure. I'm not a professional in the crypto world, everybody. So, the gentleman loves cryptocurrencies. Derek still loves it. He trades in it. He's addicted to it. He says literally working 9 to 5, feels like he works more hours because, obviously crypto is 24/7, and it's an emotional ride. He's learned quickly that in February, when you're on top of the world, right? I guess February was the high for cryptocurrency, everybody. And he says in February, it's just you have these emotional swings. He's been investing in it for over 3 years. He took a small risk of $20,000 in Ethereum when Ethereum was $6 a coin. Is that good? I don't know what Ethereum is now. And he diversified 50% of his portfolio into other cryptocurrency startups and alternative coins. Now, he says he admits it's been a very bumpy ride. I've been burned in bullshit high-yielding pyramid schemes, fraudulent fake alternative cryptocurrencies and crypto coin offerings, and the whole 9 yards. As much as I hate regulation and regulatory agencies, I feel cryptocurrency needs to have some regulation similar to Wall Street. Thanks for buying the collection. Okay. So, I'm going to give my 2 cents and we're going to take a look at these really cool cards. So, this is a very big thing. This gentleman is probably, I would say I'm probably at maybe 15 to 20 collections that people have sent me strictly over the fact of what's going on in the world of cryptocurrency. I'm getting a lot of messages and a lot of people selling me Magic collections because, again, there's a very clear connection between investors and reserve lists in Magic and the world of crypto. We've talked about this before. The trend is still continuing, and there seems to be a lot of, I don't want to say like negative attitude or negativity or energy, but there seems to be a lot of people that definitely are not as pumped about the straight up elevator ride to the moon of the value of cryptocurrencies. As of the filming of this video, I believe, I pulled this on the screen, Bitcoin is currently at about $6,300 a coin. So again, I don't know how many people sold or bought into it when it was 15 to 20,000 at the high range. I'm not really sure. I don't follow it much, but I want people to understand there is definitely a correlation between reserve list cards, people who are parking money in Magic, like this gentleman did, and a lot of other people are doing, and they're not. This gentleman was not buying reserve list cards or vintage Magic cards to play the game. Has nothing to do with that. This gentleman is stating specifically, he only used Magic the Gathering and reserve list cards and graded Magic cards specifically as a kind of a conversion of currency. So think about this, everybody. He had extra money. He went to cryptocurrency. It sounds like he doubled or tripled his money. I'm not sure. I don't have the details. We're going to assume he sold out. He mentions 15,000 a coin. So if he locked in a lot of profits at 15,000 a coin, he then moved the money and bought up a ton of reserve list graded magic. So we went from one non-registered asset to another non-registered asset class, and now he wants to unload that to me. Now again, everybody knows I pay by PayPal. So depending on the dollar amount, if I end up paying somebody over $20,000 through PayPal, PayPal will generate a 1099 form showing a statement of cash flows. Now, depending on how the gentleman does his taxes and what his life is and personal tax advisor is, will dictate whether or not that becomes taxable or what he does, whether it's business or what. I have no idea what the individual's situation is. But that's kind of the chain of events, and I find it very intriguing because this is probably the 15th, maybe even the 20th person who has sold a collection. I mean, we don't mean a couple $100 collections. These are $5, $10, $20, $30, $50,000 collections. And again, as everybody already knows, I take all these collections that come through the door and I strip all the reserve lists, ABU, Antiquities, Legends, Arabian Nights cards, revised and dual lands. I strip them all and I keep them all. They get locked up, and then everything else gets sold, flipped, flushed through the market, and goes back on. All the newer stuff, fetch lands, shock lands, modern, legacy, anything that's pretty much that I just don't care about past that. And that usually, pays for a big chunk of it, and it just goes back to the system because I simply just don't want it from a strictly financial investing standpoint. So I wanted to share the story because although we're going to look at the cards here and they're cool, I think there's a bigger takeaway to everything. And, I guess I want to know if cryptocurrency stays in a bear market for another 6 months or 6 years or, I don't know, a 1 year or whatever. Is there going to be more? Is it going to snowball? If it stays flat, I expect these people and the individuals doing Magic Reserve List to continue to sell and maybe at a calm rate. But I think to myself many times, okay, so if crypto continues to have a downward slide, like what if it goes in the next 2 to 3 years, Bitcoin goes from like 6 and change back to the 5s, maybe back to the 4s, and settles in the 3 or 2000s or something. Has that retracement bear market before it levels out and starts going back up. If we continue to have more of a cutting downward knife motion, is it going to flush out a lot more people that are just saying, I'm going to hang on for now? And if that's the case, is it going to be a substantial wave of the reserve list cards coming back to the market? And that's the kind of thing I really put more focus on versus, Derek. I mean, this gentleman was real nice. We had a great experience. I gave him a shipping label. He shipped this stuff to me for free. I got him paid for. Everything was good. I covered his PayPal fees. We had no problems. Real nice guy. I wish him the best. But I focus more on the grand scheme of, okay, Derek did this. A lot of people, you guys watched the videos already where I've mentioned stories. I've showed collections on a similar thing. And again, I'm only showing about one collection video a week, but in reality, I have probably about 3 to 4 collection videos per week coming in that are between 5 and maybe 30,000. And I don't want to flood the channel. I have a lot pre-filmed too I haven't shown, but I don't really just want to have all card videos like that. So my other comment was going to be, so what if Bitcoin or any form of crypto or alternative coins continue to actually turn around, we go back to some really strong bull market, and these coins go back to the all-time highs, or they retest the highs, or they shatter the highs, and they continue to go to the moon, or, is that going to cause the Antiquities, Legends, Arabian Nights, and the ABU cards to just blow through the roof? Are we going to have a new level of capital that just shows up out of nowhere because crypto goes back to a bull market? And my concern is actually more concerning on that direction because I don't feel the magic market is in any form of condition or shape or in any form of stabilizing period that can handle any major influx of additional, just a lot of people coming into a lot of money, because the magic market of reserve list cards is already very just distorted. It's very weak. The supply is, there's no depth to anything. If you want to look up certain cards, you go on eBay. Oh, look, there's 3 available. TCG Player has 2. Oh, look, well, the buy list is this. The cards are just gone across the board compared to 24 months ago. So that's all I'm going to say on this rambling. So that's probably my number one concern is what happens if crypto actually has a huge leg up versus if there's a crypto crash. I think that's my more paranoia, anxiety direction, because all that big chunks of money are probably going to they're going to flow somewhere. There's going to be people that are going to lock it in, and that money's going to flow through the system. It's going to slosh around, and I don't know how. I mean, there's just not a lot. There's no market float. There's not. I mean, I can't type in Bazaar of Baghdad and find 200 copies anymore. I can't type in, I don't even know what, Moat or Candelabra or Mishra's Workshop. I mean, there just aren't like 150 copies on eBay or TCG Player or, DA Card or the Card Kingdom, Star City, Card Castle, cool stuff. I mean, these companies just don't have them listed anymore. And the people who bought them are not selling them. Nobody's putting them back in the market, even when these people are doubling their money. All right, we're done rambling. I want to get people's opinion. Do you guys are you seeing other things? Give me your thoughts. Are you seeing, I'll pin some crazy stories and crazy comments. Let's check out the cards. It's a weird time, everybody. It's a really weird time. So here we go. You guys like those Hollywood effects? So, okay. This is just one of two here. He sent me 2 binders. This is the first one. It looks like he just bought pretty much Modern Legacy staples. Honestly, there's not really anything exciting to show you guys. I'll just kind of flip through real quick. Nobody really cares. By the time you're watching this, I've probably already flipped or sold. They're on eBay or whatever. I mean, we got newer cards. They're cool. They're nice. That's great. Hey, look, a couple Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Hey, look, some fetch lands. Anybody? All right, cool. That's really, like I said, nothing really exotic here. That was, I think this was more of his personal playing type collection. Now, this was the one I found to be the most interesting, everybody. A little bit of dust. I don't know how clear this is. Let me check it. Let me make it real clear for you guys. There we go. The colors were a little too off for everybody, so I wanted to correct that. So, this notebook, what it appears to me is this gentleman literally went on the internet and he was parking money into strictly random reserve list cards based on the quantities of the cards that I'm seeing and also based on the type of cards that are being purchased here. There's the common denominator of all of these cards here is they are all pretty much 93, 94, and then the only thing newer than that is going to be the Weatherlight, Tempest, Saga type cards. And I haven't looked up every single card, but I would be willing to go on a limb. Even these Weatherlight cards are probably going to be reserve list cards, most of them. I don't think they all are. I don't know if it's like Buried Alive is reserve list, but it definitely appears like you can see like the Power Leech, and then some of these are just old cards. Same thing. I mean, the fact that you would buy like 5 of these Might Stones is very like, okay, obviously you bought them because they were reserve list. So there's things like that. And same thing, if you look at these, you see a lot of the Weatherlight cards. You see, of course, Haunting Winds, Antiquities Reserve List. Over here, same thing, everybody. You have Mana Vortex. It's the Dark Reserve List. And, of course, you got Tower. You got, and, of course, Peacekeeper. One of these weird... These aren't really high-end, super expensive cards. And, of course, you got revised cards like the Fork. The Fork. Actually, it's just called Fork, right? There's no the on that, is there? No. So, and I find it interesting... Because even like some of these, like this isn't reserve list, but it is a 93, 94 type card. Same thing. Citadel Druid, apparently there's a bunch of hype around that right now. I guess that's something going on. If there's a buyout, I have no clue. So it's the same thing. A lot of these dark cards, same thing. The Nameless Race type cards. I mean, these are cards that are kind of cheaper, pseudo reserve list cards that people seem to be going after. Firestorm, same thing. Some of these Justice, more Haunting Winds. You guys kind of noticing a little pattern here? Everything in here, it's very random. I was like, dude, seriously, Derek, how did you sort your cards, man? Is this alphabetical? Is this just random? And he said it's pretty much just crazy randomness. So, same thing. You see a lot of these old random, the dark cards. You see a lot of Weatherlight cards. A lot of people for the longest time were not aware Weatherlight had a ton of reserve list cards that people didn't really, acknowledge or really care about. And then you get, the typical Stone Calendar I always kind of poke fun at because it's a card that literally, it was one of the first cards from the dark that everybody started, like, buying out the dark, and it was, like, a big deal. So, you can kind of see where I'm going with this, and then, of course, we get to more of these staples and the more expensive ones. Again, more Weatherlight. You can see Antiquities, Power Leeches. Same thing, Weatherlights. You can see the dark again over here. Same thing. A few, again, Frankenstein's Monster. It's another one I always kind of poke fun at because it's another one of these target buyout cards, and I'm just kind of like, really? But it's a thing. And then we get over here, and you have some actual legit cards. You do have the Jihad. I mean, even if it wasn't reserve listed, this is what we call pseudo-reserve list because of the fact, just the name, the Wizards will never touch stuff like this. But for some reason, this one has become very expensive recently. Peacekeeper, same thing. Goblin Wizards become, again, the dark buyouts has been a really big thing. Tutors from Revise, only uncommon Revise, still there's a ton out there. I probably have at least 100. And, you know, it's just one of those cards that it's a legit card. The infamous, the two blue cards, the infamous Power and Transmute that always run neck and neck. I always felt they're undervalued. I think they're still around $100 a card. I'm surprised they're not higher. I think they were actually rares, like a workshop or something. They would probably be $300-400 by now. But the fact they're uncommon, there's a lot more in the market sloshing around. So, and again, in the Eye of Chaos, same thing. Lotus Veil was another Weatherlight card that recently woke up and became more well recognized. Dual land, no really even reason to kind of discuss what it is. And then we get over here to, again, you'll notice the same thing. Random Legends, reserve list cards. More old Weatherlight cards. Random Legends again, and then same thing. Legends is such a massive set. You get a lot of these random Legends pseudo cards that are just people are realizing, well, they shouldn't be very cheap. So same thing. You see more random Legends cards. I'm not sure why some are missing here. I don't know what the deal is with that. So yeah, you see the same thing with all these cards. Then of course you get the revised Wheel of Fortune. Remember, a lot of people, I still get the questions. Rudy, why has Wheel of Fortune become so expensive now? What happened to it? It's revised. There's 1 billion of them. There's like 100 million revised. I know, but again, it's Wheel of Fortune. It's a very symbolic, ridiculously overpowered, beautiful artwork card that has a lot of things going for it. Field of Dreams is one of my quiet specs a long time ago I never talked about. And then, of course, you get more Legends cards, Antiquities, same thing. Then we go more dark. It's all the same crap. You guys notice this? You were seeing, I mean, look, Lurker. You're seeing a bunch of cards. What? Knight of Thorn? What? Hidden Path? You're seeing all these random the dark cards that everybody is trying to park money into right now. Eternal Flame. These are all dark cards that literally 2 years ago nobody gave two shits about. Same thing. You're seeing a repeat here, everybody. So, same thing. You're seeing repeats, more Stone Calendars, more of the same thing. Tree Folks, Worms of the, I mean, just same stuff. Now, you do have some more mainstream cards in here, like Suchis. This is a card I still can't believe is under $100. I remember buying these all day long for 20, then 30s, now 40s and 50s. I can't believe it's under 100 still. It's hilarious. Same thing. You got some of these other little kind of random ones also. The Urzas, you got the Dampening Fields. I believe these are all reserve lists. Same thing. You got the Might Stones and the Weak Stones. Same thing with this. They've been cheap for the longest time. They're finally adjusting. So that's really about it. Preacher Season, same thing. So that's it with this notebook. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kind of move to another topic over here. And I am going to show you the one last thing is the random crazy graded cards he showed. You ready? Boo! Look at that technology. So the first thing I want to go, these are all the PSA cards that he sent. Okay, so he sent a bunch of PSA and a bunch of BGS cards. Why the differences and why I'm not really sure, but I really want to. This is kind of a really key component. I hope you guys are still with me after this much time. So first thing I want to point out is you have a ton of Antiquities cards. I mean, it's almost strange of how. First of all, they're all graded 9s, no 8s or 10s. That's kind of weird. And I mean, it's like he claims that he did not grade these, that a shop or something he was involved with or bought them or something. So I wanted to kind of share that because you go through this stuff and it's like, okay. Like you're going to notice a very quick pattern of the same cards you guys saw in the binders that are now kind of in the graded thing. So again, all Antiquities and things, and then the same thing. You go to Antiquities, you're seeing more PSA. They're all about 9. They're all minty cards. And then you're seeing good Arabian Nights cards. Boy, the coloring is beautiful. I hope you guys are enjoying the color and the motion of this video. It's beautiful. Same thing. The dark, same stuff. And then you get over here, Legends, same thing, everybody. Just an absolute ton of this stuff. And, I mean, they're beautiful cards. I mean, that's why I wanted them. That's why I had no problems buying these. I was just like, these are great cards. So you're going to see just continued amounts of, which is almost random looking. It's like they're all different sets, and they're all random. And I'm like, all right, well, this is... So anyway, I ended up acquiring tons and tons of additional graded cards from this. Now, here's the part of the video I want to get to. For whoever actually did grade these, because I don't believe this gentleman graded these cards, why on earth... Oh, look, it's graded to 10. Whoop-de-doo, we got an Urza's card. Why on earth are people grading, not even a foil, a regular version of an Urza's card? I don't even understand. I mean, the fact it's a 10 gives it value, but I don't get that. Same thing with Deranged Hermit. These aren't even foil versions. Like, these are not gradable material. I don't understand why anybody would pay the grading costs, especially with PSA. PSA is not cheap, everybody. And we get to the same thing. You got Mirage. Why on earth are people spending money to grade Mirage cards? That is just silly to me. I don't get it. I do not recommend that to anybody. Hey, look, a PSA 10, a Coup de Jin from Visions. Don't spend your money grading cards like this. This is a terrible investment. The print runs through the roof. There are people with probably like at least 1,000 of these in mint condition. There's no rarity. There's no premium on a card like this. So that's the first thing I really wanted to share with everybody. So let me get the next batch here. Okay, we're still going. Stay with me, everybody. There's a lot to learn in this video. So now we have Beckett cards. You ready for another 100 to 200 Beckett cards? Ridiculous amounts of graded crap. So again, this is a Visions. Yeah, it's a good grade, but don't grade cards like this, people. Like, it's not a good use of your money or time. Weatherlight cards, these are not good use of capital. Same thing, Firestorms. I mean, even when the grades are good, it's not worth it to grade cards like this. I don't understand. I do not recommend it. Obviously, this gentleman probably didn't grade these cards because I think he told me he didn't, but it's just, I mean, cool, they're dragons, they're Mirage. I mean, like an 8.5 Mirage card. I'm going to bust this out of the case, throw it away, and just, put it in my Mirage collection area. There's no value to that. There's no premium to this kind of stuff. And that's something that's important, everybody. So, I said, I hope everybody's learning something with this. Now for the metal clinking and everything, it's time for me to do a little cleanup, and I'm going to show you the biggest exciting moment of this video on why I did decide that I was excited and the reason I wanted to buy this collection. I hope you guys are ready. Ready? Because of this. This is why. These are all legends. So, this is the #1 reason I was excited to actually buy this collection, okay? Now, this right here is all legit. Now, these are cards I highly do recommend people do grade. This is the good stuff, everybody. Are we looking a little funny or dark? Here, hold on, the colors look a little off. Let's help you guys out. Let's do some adjusting. So, again, we have cards like these, Lifeblood, remember that spike, everybody? Infinite Authority. We have a bunch of good, just nothing crazy. Hey, look, Intervention. So, these are the type of cards where the money, the investors, this is the good stuff. These are the things you definitely do want to grade and put money into. You got Telekinesis, Acid Rain, hello, Land Equilibriums. You definitely want Land Equilibrium. These are expensive cards. Elder Spawn and Elder Spawn don't care. But again, this is the good stuff, everybody. Spinal Villain, is that actually a rare? I think it's actually a rare. Go figure, right? Disharmony, so again, these are Legends rares. Do not underestimate the value of Legends rares. Overlords, I don't know, I think it's a rare. Stormworld, these were cards that were all not really sought after for the longest time period. Beautiful artwork, isn't it? Now, everybody knows Rudy's favorite woman. There she is, Little Miss Gwendolyn.